today we have Sadie and Abby Bowler, who are the co-founders of SadieB Personal Care, a girl-centered personal care brand with a mission to flip the script on beauty messaging and meet the needs of girls getting things done. So with that, welcome in, guys.
Thank you so much. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
I'm glad we could do this. And I've looked into your guys' brand and your product, and it looks amazing. I've had a couple of other, I had the founders of Dime Beauty Company and PMD Beauty on here. And so to have another, awesome beauty brand, I'm excited to hear your guys' story. So with that, the first thing I typically ask my guests is to talk a little bit about your upbringing. And so, childhood, teenage years, kind of parents or influences, or, you guys are super young, you're coming out in college, you're coming out of college or what have you. I mean, it'd be interesting to hear kind of what has inspired you, influenced you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think Abby would answer the same, that it started with our parents. They're just amazing. Our dad is an entrepreneur, so we definitely inherited the entrepreneur spirit from him. But just the way that they raised us was to, work hard, and they're always pushing us, I think, really towards our passions. Like what we were passionate about, they encouraged us in that. For me, that was styling hair. So I started an Instagram account when I was like 11 years old, where I posted the braids and styles I was doing, and then eventually started doing hair for weddings and school dances, stuff like that. But just loved doing that, and they always encouraged me in whatever I was passionate about.
Yeah, definitely. Our dad, especially his obsession with entrepreneurship and specifically with brand creation, inspired us a lot and was definitely what pushed us to start SadieB. And for me, my senior year of high school is when I really started to form an idea of what I wanted to do. I had a couple of opportunities. One was I was in one of my classes in part of a writing competition. I think it was called Invest Right, and we wrote about creating an impact investment fund. And that completely, I had never heard of impact investing before. And that I, created this, fake fund about that would support refugees and give back. And then I had another opportunity to internship with the International Rescue Committee and some local companies, including Traeger grills. And that seeing the way that business can be used as a force for good completely changed my life. And it was immediately, I knew that that's what I wanted to do with my career. So
I love it. And you mentioned your dad was an entrepreneur. So what was he in, what industry?
Yeah, so he started a company called Criminelli Fine Meats, so Italian food products. He started it about, over 10 years ago, and was just, obsessed with creating brand. And he did a great job with that at Criminelli, and then has since moved on and is starting something new. So cool. Just like always creating and building brands, and
Yeah, I love it. So where are you guys at right now? So how old are you both? And you mentioned, I think you're in school, right? But I would love to just kind of hear your ages, what you're doing like in school, and kind of how many siblings you have. Obviously you guys are sisters, but a little bit more about where you are right now.
Yeah, so I'm the oldest. I'm 22, okay. And I'm at BYU studying economics.
Okay,
so that's cool. What I'm up to.
And then I'm at the University of Utah. I'm 20. Okay. And I'm in the business program studying marketing. And then we have two younger siblings, Annie, and she's 16, and then our little brother John, who's 12.
Who's 12? Okay. Any chance that they end up getting into the business with you guys as well, or?
Annie's already planning on it. She loves to help us out like any way she can. So
yeah, that's so cool. I love it. Well, going from your childhood, obviously you guys are still really young. I mean, how did you? I looked on LinkedIn. It looks like you guys have been working on SadieB for 4 years ish now. So I mean, that would have been when you were in your teenage years. I mean, how did you guys come up with the concept? I mean, you're very young. How did that kind of play out?
Yeah, so I feel like it started with, like I mentioned, just being immersed in the beauty and personal care industry at such a young age, styling hair. And the concept kind of came about when we were on a camping trip with our dad. We were in Banff, Canada, and backpacking for a couple days, and we just started talking about the personal care products that I was using, and because we had kind of gone before the trip on this like look for products we could use at the campsite, so something super natural, and so it just kind of got us thinking about it. It was a focus of the trip, and anyway, so we were thinking about it, and we just kind of realized as we were talking that the products I was using and Abby was using were not speaking to our needs as girls and not speaking to what mattered to us as young girls. And a lot of the messages were even harmful. And so we were like coming up with these ideas like, oh my goodness, what if there was a shampoo and conditioner for girls like that went camping, like that loved backpacking and trail running and like we did. And so the first one we came up with was like, it was the Adventurer, which is now one of our product lines. And so this idea just kind of formed as we talked that what if these products were built around girls' interests and activities, what they were accomplishing and capable of, rather than the look they were trying to achieve. So yeah, that's kind of where the idea started.
And Will said, another layer of that, when we started SadieB, it was more generally about like girls empowerment. And then as we dialed in on our message and specifically thinking about our social impact that we wanted to make, we pivoted towards supporting girls' mental health, which came super naturally from the way the products are built around, to uplift girls and what they're accomplishing. But was also something that Sadie and I have dealt with, that we see friends deal with, and that we know is a nationwide crisis. The Surgeon General calls it the defining public health crisis of our time, these mental health challenges that young people face. And that's what we want to help address as a brand.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like any really solid business has kind of that another aspect, a charitable aspect, or something to help with, driving a bigger cause. And so I think that that's really important. So, okay, so you come up with the initial concept from this camping experience. You see the need that exists in the marketplace. So from that initial concept, what was like maybe the first 12 months like from when I have an idea, we have this idea. What did you do from there?
There was a point that I remember so vividly where we were just sitting at the kitchen counter with my dad. We had kind of started coming up with more product lines after this camping trip.
We came home from that trip like drawing bottles.
Yeah.
We were excited.
We were just sitting at the kitchen counter, and I remember my dad looked at both of us and he was like, do you want to do this? And we were like, yeah, we want to do this. Like, this is what we want to do. And so a couple days later, we had a neighbor that had just moved in. His name's Bo Euler, and he runs Enlisted Design, which is a branding firm. And he was nice enough to let us pitch our idea. At the time, we were calling it For Girls by Girls. It was just in the most infant stage and had a lot of work to be done on it. But we went in and pitched to a couple of his team members, and they took a chance on us and helped us bring now SadieB to life, just the brand voice and look and feel. So
yeah, we really built the brand with Enlisted. Like they were so incredible and really empowered us to create the brand to reflect our, what we truly wanted it to be, which is a brand for all girls. And it was the launch pad really for our brand. We could not have done it without them.
Yeah, I mean, the product looks amazing. Your website looks amazing. I mean, the whole thing, it's very clean and it resonates really well with, I feel like, your mission. So that's great. So that would have been like 2019-ish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019.
So you were about 16?
Yes.
You were 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're working with this Enlisted brand, your dad. Yeah. So when it comes to, I mean, things cost money, right? Like to pay this brand. I mean, was it like, hey, Dad, you want to come in with us? Was it investors? Like, was it your own money? How did you guys kind of get some funding to pay for some of that stuff?
Yeah, we started with angel investors, mostly from family members who believed in us and believed
then
our idea.
When I said Enlisted took a chance on us, we gave them, a portion of equity so that they could help us build the brand. And so they really invested in us.
Yeah.
To help us build SadieB,
Yeah,
which is awesome.
That makes sense. Good stuff. So Enlisted's coming up with the concept. So how long did it take to go from concept to having, samples in hand, like bottles of shampoo and all of that?
Yeah, so of course after 2019, COVID rolled around, and so that slowed things down significantly. But so during that same time when we were meeting with Enlisted and building the brand, I had gone and met with a formulator and pitched to them in California. And so we started the formulation process of creating these custom formulas with functionalities for girls that were helpful to them and met their needs. And so those were going on simultaneously, but then, of course, the pandemic hit and things just slowed down significantly. We were getting product samples just in little tiny bottles that we were trying from the formulator. But we kind of finalized the formulas, we developed the fragrances, and then we didn't have final bottle samples until bottle filled with our product that was going to be shipped to customers till April 22.
Really? Okay. So it took some time.
It took a long time, and pandemic definitely slowed it down. It took a long time.
Yeah, makes sense. What is that process like to develop a formula for shampoo? I could only imagine it's pretty complicated. I mean, there's so many new, I don't know. I mean, I use my wife's shampoo, to be honest, just whatever. I don't even know what it is. But, from volume to smell to oily, yeah. I don't know, what was that process like?
Yeah, so it's just trial and error. We started with trying everything on the market. We just
we tried almost every single
as much
shampoo.
Research as possible, found what we liked the very best, and then sent them as benchmarks to the formulator. So we had 8 benchmarks for the shampoos and conditioners, and then we also have the body washes and body sprays. We sent them these products that we kind of wanted to replicate in a way, but then we made them custom formulas. So we would say, we want the Adventurer to protect your hair in the sun, and we want it to be a little more hydrating than this formula is, and have these specific extracts. So then they would make it that way. They would send the sample to us. We would try it and say, okay, we want to tweak these few things. It's not hydrating enough. It's not whatever. So we did that for all 16 products before we launched, and so that's also why it took so long.
Sure. Yeah, you want to make sure you had it right.
Yes.
and got it nailed down. Because you guys have it's the Athlete, the Adventure, and the Creator.
And the Go-Getter.
And the Go-Getter, okay. Yeah. So 4 different shampoo and products to appeal to different profiles of what you're doing on a day-to-day. And yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So it sounds like took 2-ish years to kind of get to product. Mm-hmm. So yeah, take us from there kind of into expansion or actual growth or taking it to market. What was the next little bit?
Yeah, so we launched in May of 2022, and then have just launched our website live, and we had an awesome launch party to get it off the ground, and have just had D2C sales from there for about a year, and then looking to our goal is always to be in retail. That's where we see ourselves, is in Target, in Ulta, and places like that. We are expanding into a major national retailer starting next year.
That's so awesome. That's exciting. Well, that's great. So direct to consumer, so online, you guys are e-commerce space right now, expanding into retailers. I mean, how's it been since you launched in May of 2022? What have been the challenges? Has it exceeded expectations? What's that been like?
Definitely, it's exceeded our expectations, I think.
For sure.
And the most rewarding part has been seeing girls really connect with the brand and feel empowered by it, because we feel empowered by it, and we feel like it's a total game changer in the beauty industry, in the personal care industry, to have products that speak to us based on what we're accomplishing and, who we're becoming, really. And so to see other girls connecting with that message is definitely the most rewarding part of it.
Yeah, and one of our friends just told us a story the other day that we had sent his daughter some product, and she's 11, I think, 10 or 11, and he was just saying it feels so empowered by it. She feels so independent, and of course at that age too, but is totally obsessed with it, loves it so much that she's decided she's going to get body sprays for all her friends for Christmas. So just like this really holding on to the brand and feeling empowered by it, which is really cool. We love hearing those stories.
That's great. So in terms of products, it's the shampoo, I assume conditioner, and then what else?
Body wash and body spray.
Okay.
So shampoos and conditioners will be launching into retail soon, and then the body washes and body sprays we sell D2C.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So have there been any hiccups or challenges with either production or your website, or anything that you've had to overcome over the last year and a half since you've launched, or been pretty smooth?
Yeah, that's a good question. Pandemic slowed things down. There were definitely some challenges when dealing with logistics, moving the pallets and from the warehouses. That was a nightmare. But that was kind of the biggest hiccup, I feel like. As in terms of challenges, I think most of the challenges, at least for me, have been more internal, if anything, than external. We've had amazing support, amazing just mentors, and that have helped us get through a lot of the challenges externally. But we're so young, so I think, and we don't have very much experience. Mm-hmm. And so for me, the challenges have really come in just feeling not capable of running a business. But yeah, I don't know if you feel the same, but.
Yeah, I feel the same. All things considered, we have been really lucky. And I think a lot of starting a successful business does come down to that, being lucky and finding the right people at the right time to help. And we've just been so, received so much help and support from incredible people, and the entrepreneurship or the network of entrepreneurs in Utah is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely some of the challenges come on the personal side. For me, one of the most interesting challenges has been kind of this mindset shift. I've always been a very goal-oriented person, and and a bit of a perfectionist, and that often manifests in need for perfect grades and doing well in school. And in school, you're playing by someone else's rules. You're ticking the boxes to get the A, or do well on a project or whatever it may be. And in entrepreneurship, there are no rules. When you're starting your own business, you don't really have a framework like that to work within. And so shifting from that mindset of, ticking boxes to get a grade to really pushing your own agenda forward, that mindset shift has been difficult, but also fun and rewarding. But yeah, definitely a challenge for me.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm similar. I'm very type A. I went to BYU accounting program. I was like, how do I get good grades? And just there's a system, right? To get it done, and then shifting to that mindset. It's there's no structure, at least initially, and you have to kind of create that for yourself. And so that makes a lot of sense. For you guys, so you mentioned a warehouse. So what's your setup right now? Where's your warehouse, and how do you get production done?
Yeah, it's just in Salt Lake. So we had we had a pretty big initial order. So we did 5,000 of each SKU. And so we had 80,000 bottles, 40 pallets that we're storing in a warehouse. We go right now and fulfill our own orders from the product that we pick up at the warehouse. So that's how things are run right now. And then just a lot of preparation is going into the retail launch.
Yeah, I bet. And speaking of the retail, so how has that process been from going from e-commerce to meeting with retailers? Are you going into boardrooms? Are you doing calls? Like, what's that process to pitch your product and get them on board with bringing you in?
Yeah, the pitch was over Zoom. So, and we got connected with this buyer through at a female founders event here in Utah, put on by Mackenzie Bauer. One of the speakers was Shree Hager, who was the founder and CEO of Salt, and she is incredible. So we made that connection with her, and we were able to share some product with her and her daughters, and then she connected us with her broker, and then from there we got our presentation ready and did the call over Zoom, and it was a long waiting period, but finally heard back this summer. So
cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, just selling yourself and your product. That's awesome. How fun. So what are your guys' roles? I mean, how do you divvy it up between you two? What's that like?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not super like cleanly split. We share a lot of responsibilities, but Abby definitely focuses a lot on the social impact side of things, and I focus a lot on the product, marketing, things like that. So social media, I further product development, and then Abby is on
I had the social impact, and but a lot of it we just kind of tag team.
Yeah.
So.
That's what you got to do in the beginning stages.
Yes.
It's hard to draw the line.
We wear all the hats.
It's all hands on deck. Have you guys hired employees? Like, what's your head count right now?
So it's mostly us, and then we have our other team member she's a certified clinical therapist. Her name's Sam Dalton. And so all of our messaging on social media, website that has to do with mental hygiene comes from her. So is certified good advice from a therapist. Yeah.
Got it. Wow. So you guys are all hands in. I mean, yeah, you're doing it all yourself, it sounds like, which is great. That's fun. In terms of the kind of mental hygiene side, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys are doing there. And then I also read I think you guys are a public benefit corporation. So maybe a little bit more of like how you're leaning into like that side of the business outside of just the product. It would be interesting to hear a little bit more on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we actually initially incorporated as an LLC, and then later reincorporated as a public benefit corporation. Once we learned about what that was, we wanted to do that. And it really puts responsibility on us as a brand to measure our impact and to make sure that we're doing what we say we're doing. Mm-hmm. And so we actually just got to put together our first benefit report, which we do annually, and that was a fun experience to reflect on kind of the difference that our brand is making, and definitely see the potential to grow. As we scale, obviously our impact will scale with us. So that's been exciting. And we're partnered with the Girl Up United Nations Foundation. And we made that connection even
super
before
early
launch, like probably at least a year before launch. So that was always part of the plan, built into our DNA, was to be supporting girls' causes, and they do a lot of work all over the world, actually, as far as supporting girls in leadership roles and gender equality and education for girls, especially in areas of the world where they don't have as much access to it. So
that's great. Because that was kind of the initial thesis, was you didn't see a product that fit the needs of girls in these different aspects of life. And so Sadie, did you want to add anything to that?
I was just kind of going to add to the mental hygiene message that we connect. So we call ourselves a personal care and mental hygiene brand, and we want to be our purpose is to be a source of mental uplift for girls. And we do that by leveraging our personal care products and entering into girls' daily routines to remind them that mental health should be a part of that routine, should be a part of their personal care routine. And so, I think that's kind of where the mental hygiene piece comes in. And we want girls to be uplifted and have resources, and we're wanting to connect with more. As Abby said, we feel like our impact program has a lot of potential. We want to be able to provide more resources and be this source of mental uplift.
Love it. But it's so important. You guys had mentioned, you mentioned Mackenzie Bauer. I saw whether it was an interview, another article I read that you had Susan Peterson that was kind of involved, and a lot of these women entrepreneurs that sounds like are kind of in your corner to some extent. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you've gotten advice or bringing on advisors or kind of implemented other women entrepreneurs into your business.
Yeah, we have an incredible board of advisors, women and men. We have Davis Smith, who started Cotopaxi and who is just a huge example to us of how to build a brand that has impact and that treats people well and makes a difference for good. And so we have him. Another one is Jared Allgood, and he's been incredible on our board. And then of course Mackenzie Bauer, Noelle Bates, and she was the head of marketing for Stance for a long time. And the network of female entrepreneurs in Utah is incredible. Like we said, we go to these events, and Mackenzie is amazing at bringing women together. And we've received so much, advice and help and mentorship from women at these events, and especially Mackenzie.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course we mentioned Cherie too, who has also been a huge support. So yeah,
that's great. And what is the format typically like for the board of advisors? Is like a formal thing where you meet every month, or is it kind of just like you ask for advice when you need it, or how's that been?
A little bit of both. We're kind of always in contact with them, but we have quarterly meetings where we'll kind of tackle the big questions. But then they're always willing to help, and we're constantly connecting with them, and they're constantly connecting us with people that can help us even more. So it's just a constant support system that we have.
Yeah, that's great. I wanted to ask you guys about marketing for your product. I mentioned a couple of the other beauty groups that I've had, and I feel like influencers have been a big piece of that. But how have you guys been able to successfully get your name out there to increase your sales and your outreach?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we really, up to this point, have not done a lot of paid marketing, if really any. All of our growth so far, D2C, has been organic. And of course, we're really going to ramp that up as we launch into retail. And so we're working to find a PR firm that can support us and just build our brand defining idea a little bit, just to refine it and make it clear, to make sure that it's something that really connects with girls on shelf when they pass our product in the store. But we're looking into brand ambassadors and PR, and just really wanting to share our founder story, that we're young girls speaking to girls through our products and wanting to uplift them. And then, of course, adding in the story of mental hygiene and sharing that. So, and then we did bring on one brand ambassador so far, Olivia Moultrie. She's the youngest professional soccer player in the world. She is amazing, so talented. And so she's supporting us, and we're supporting her. And that's also, I feel like, one of my favorite things about SadieB and working on it, is that just this system we built where we can support girls and they can support us, and it's really cool.
Bringing on Olivia has been so amazing. She is incredible. She went pro. She started playing professionally when she was 13 years old, and then officially made her debut on the Portland Thorns when she was 15.
Wow.
And has continued to just blow everyone away. She's amazing, and she was just the perfect first brand ambassador to bring on for us, because she embodies truly the values of SadieB and this idea of communicating what girls are capable of. She's such a good example of that. So we are so stoked to have her. We actually just got to go watch one of her games this past weekend in Portland, and she killed it, of course.
Yeah.
So, and then we're continuing to build our ambassador program. We want more girls like Olivia. We really just want to be associated with girls like that as a brand, so they can further communicate our brand message, which they just live inherently.
Yeah, that's great. Really smart. You guys sound like you're doing it exactly right. So I'm curious how you're balancing school and other demands in your life with getting this business kind of going.
Yeah, so
I don't know that we're balancing it at all.
yeah, this semester, SadieB has definitely taken priority. So we've been taking full course loads up to this point, and now we're kind of pulling back a little bit. I'm only taking one class that's heavily focused on creative advertising, so I can just directly apply it to SadieB, and that's all I'm doing this semester. And then
I'm just in one class right now, one econ class. So
so we're taking it slow on the school end of things and really picking it up with SadieB, and that's how it's going so far. But yeah,
good for you guys. I feel like it's so beneficial to be starting a business and doing school, like to be able to directly apply. Because when I was in school, it's all just theoretical, right? It's like, oh well, this is nice, but you know. Yeah, so I've actually had that thought. I'm like, man, it'd be nice to be like in some college courses right now to be able to just apply. So hopefully that's I know econ is a brutal class too at BYU, at least if it's the same one that I took. So, well, what's kind of the next, what's the vision for you guys with SadieB? What do the next couple years look like, or even beyond?
Yeah.
Even beyond that, our vision for SadieB is to become the go-to personal care brand for all girls. And to kind of put, a picture on what that looks like, we really want to own this moment for girls, when they're in junior high school, our age, in college. We often talk about, internally, we talk about this moment each morning when a girl goes into her bathroom and she's, if they're anything like us, you're immediately bombarded and surrounded by all of these messages and all of these products.
When you think about that landscape of products that you enter into in that moment, it is all of these messages telling you that your hair needs to be shinier, your skin needs to be clearer, whatever it is. And sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
No, yeah, and that, I think, is a moment that a lot of girls can relate to. And where we want to come in as a brand is, provide this messaging that, what you are capable of is no way tied to how you don't measure up to society's beauty standards.
Instead of being surrounded by this landscape of messages that can be a source of mental stress, we imagine girls walking into their bathroom and this moment where they're surrounded by messages instead being messages of mental uplift, and just having that moment be powering up for the day, and a place where they can grab their go-getter shampoo and be like, okay, I'm gonna be a go-getter today. And it can be different every day. They can be, whatever they want. But just creating this moment instead of being dragged down, being kind of recharged and empowered for the day, and kind of believing in their strengths and what they can accomplish.
Yeah, that's great. Such a good message. Did you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so we need to make some more personal care products. And that's our vision, is to create a full line of hair care and skin care, and eventually, go into these other categories and expand to make them accessible to girls, whether in more retailing and grocery. So that's where we want to be.
Yeah, have you guys thought about that quite yet, going into alternative products, expanding yet, or are you just kind of focusing on where you are now, or what's that been like?
Yeah, we definitely, we want to expand our hair care line for sure. Do things like dry shampoo, leave-in conditioner, things that are super functional for girls, like a post-workout spray for your hair, a styling cream for braids. So definitely expand in hair care, and then even shave care, skin care. We want to expand our product line for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you guys think about, and maybe you don't, I feel like you guys have a pretty great niche in terms of how you're marketing your product, but what about competition in the landscape? I mean, do you think about other brands? Like, is it all just positive? Like, hey, we're working together or whatever, or I don't know. How do you think about competition?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we definitely think about it. And where we feel confident is that our messaging is so unique and so different from what's out there right now. And especially thinking about retailer, we're thinking about who will be next to us on the shelf, and the other messages and even looks that will be surrounding ours. But really it's, I don't know, we do feel confident with where we sit within the landscape of competitors, just because we are so, our products are created so specifically for Gen Z girls, and our messaging is unique and specifically for them.
And that's something that's missing in the industry.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it, and so I think it's incredibly unique. And I feel like from an expansion and just appeal standpoint, a lot of these larger retailers would eat that up. Like, this is very unique, like girl centric. The different products that you guys offer. So that's awesome. Well, I'm just in terms of advice that you guys would have, like for somebody wanting to start a business. You're 4 years into this. You've been doing it. You're in the weeds. So I don't generic advice you'd have for someone starting a company, and that's kind of high level. But anything you'd like to share would be great to hear.
I think I'm just taking advice from wise people. Our board members, they're awesome. I think one of the pieces of advice that our dad has given us over and over is and that I think is the key to entrepreneurship, is just finding something you're passionate about. And if you're not passionate about it, then it won't go anywhere. So I think that's what has gotten us this far, for sure, is that this brand is built around me and Abby's passions.
Yeah, that's great.
Definitely. My number one piece of advice would be to seek mentors, seek mentorship. And we have truly been amazed by the people who have been willing to mentor us and offer advice and make connections for us. And so especially at our age, that's been incredible. Yeah. That's been so incredible and a game changer for us. So that would be my number one piece of advice, is if you have an idea, find someone who has maybe done what you are trying to do or knows some people who can help you, and seek their help.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned, the passion for it, excitement. I mean, what are you guys within SadieB? What are you working on now that's like that's most exciting for you both?
Yeah, I think we can't talk about the specifics of the retail launch, but that's something we're both stoked about, and having the product be more accessible for girls, just being able to share our message with a bigger audience, and growing and scaling, and I talked about the brand defining idea. That's something I'm super excited about. I'm majoring in marketing, and it's just something that I love. And so just refining that and connecting with girls through that message is something that I'm super excited about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and something I have been loving recently that we're doing is really strengthening strengthening our impact program. So we're looking to bring on some more partners over the next year or so. We're looking at Girl Up is planning to do some more mental health specific programming that we're hoping to support with. And then we're also looking to bring on other mental health partners. So organizations that focus specifically on supporting young people with their mental health, as far as providing therapy, access to therapy. There's a lot of new online tools for specifically for Gen Z young adults to help. There's a lot of AI and other new technology out there that has been proven to be super helpful with mental health challenges for young people. So we're excited to expand our partnership and our impact program.
Awesome. It's great stuff. Well, this is a question I ask all my guests, and it's kind of a holistic question. When you think about life and success, there's a lot of areas in life that you can strive to be great at. But I guess, how would you both individually define like a life well lived or success in your realm or in your life? It's a deep question. And then you guys are so young, so it's like, I don't know, you probably haven't even thought about this stuff.
Figured out yet.
Yeah, I know.
But I think something that and Mackenzie Bauer is such an amazing example of this, and she always says it, but I think I completely agree. I think we both recognize that we have been given this incredible opportunity. Meeting the right people and having this idea and just having so much support, and we've been so blessed, and so I feel this great responsibility to take advantage of the opportunity and the resources that we've been given, and I think that is something that defines or that looks like success for me, is taking what you've been given and giving back and doing as much as you can with it. So yeah,
That's great.
I agree with what you said, and I guess the other thing I would add is that I think that no amount of success, as other people define it, can replace the joy that comes from your relationships in life, your friendships, and relationships with your family members. And obviously, we received some warnings when we decided to work together and start a company together, because a lot of people say, don't work with family, it'll just cause problems. And Sadie and I really make an effort to prioritize our relationship, even over the business, if that's what it means, because at the end of the day, that's what brings the most joy and success, I guess, as I would define it.
Yeah, I'm being sisters. Are your parents just so stoked about you guys and what you're doing?
They're excited and so supportive. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, well, good for you guys. I'm excited to see your growth, and congrats on everything that you've done so far. Incredibly impressive at your age, and just being able to do what you did, and to just, I feel like a lot of people listen to the show, or perhaps, analysis paralysis, or thinking about an idea or how to do it, how to execute, but just to see you guys from such a young age, like, hey, we have an idea, let's just go do it. And here you are. So awesome. Well, this has been so great. I'm so glad that you guys could share your story and spend some time and share advice. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.